Chapter 8 Shadows in the Hollar Red. Red had stayed another night with her mother because of the weather, or at least that was the reason she told herself. Truth was, something about that night had left her feeling uneasy in a way she couldn't shake, and it wasn't just the fight. It wasn't Thomas. Not exactly. She wasn't scared of him. She wasn't scared of any man. She had worked in bars near Appalachian State, cutting her teeth on rowdy college boys and locals who thought they were tougher than they were. She'd put her fair share of men in their place, her fiery attitude making up for whatever she lacked in stature. If a drunk got too handsy, she had a way of staring through him, a slow, deliberate smile that made even the biggest bastard think twice. And if that didn't work, well, she wasn't above a swift knee to the groin. But last night? Last night was different. She'd felt something crawl into her gut and settle there, heavy and cold. It wasn't just anger rolling off Thomas in waves, though that was part of it. It was something else, something deeper, something that made her instincts whisper, "Run." And that was ridiculous. She knew Thomas. She loved him. He would never hurt her, never hurt Anna. But something about him in that moment, the set of his jaw, the way his eyes had darkened, had made her step back without even realizing she was doing it. And that unsettled her more than anything. So she left, collected Anna, grabbed a bag, and walked out the door while Thomas stood on the porch, fuming, silent. She half expected him to say something, anything, but he just watched, fists clenched at his sides. "Thomas, we're going down to Lenoir to stay with my mom. She ain't seen Anna in weeks, and you got some thinking to do." Her voice had been firm, steady, even though her stomach was a knotted mess. "I know this was dumped on you all at once, and I understand stress. It ain't like we live easy up here." She sighed, shifting Anna's bag higher on her shoulder. "I think you need time. To vent, get drunk, whatever self-destructive thing men seem to enjoy. Call me when you get yourself figured out." His jaw stayed tight, that muscle ticking like he was biting back words. She hated seeing him like that, so damn lost in himself he couldn't even reach for her. But she couldn't fix it for him. He had to come to her when he was ready. "I love you, Thomas," she said, softer this time. "But I ain't nobody's weeping widow." For just a second, something flickered in his eyes. Something real. Something vulnerable. And then, like a snap of the fingers, it was gone. As she turned to leave, he finally spoke. "Don't you mean Willow?" She huffed out a sharp laugh. "Not if you don't get your enormous head out of your ass." And then she was gone, driving down those winding mountain roads, Anna asleep in the back seat, her own vision blurring with unshed tears. It felt like she was leaving a piece of herself behind, but she knew she was doing the right thing. Her mother noticed immediately. "You look a million miles away, Bug. You okay?" Red forced a smile as she sat at the breakfast table. "Yeah, just last night was crazy. One minute, we're sitting down to eat, the next, bam, that damn knock at the door, and everything changes." Her mother slid a plate of eggs and bacon in front of her. "It don't have to change, honey." Red took a bite, chewing slowly. "Those mountains been there longer than any of us. They ain't going anywhere." Her mom smiled. "Exactly. And neither are you and Thomas, not really." For a moment, they just sat there, eating in comfortable silence. Then, almost in perfect unison, they both muttered, "Fancy is just a way to make simple things more expensive and less reliable." They laughed, and for the first time in what felt like forever, Red felt a little lighter. The rest of the day was spent distracting themselves, taking Anna to the park, watching her splash in the water, running after her as she charmed strangers into giving her snacks. Her mother beamed with pride, watching Anna work a juice box out of a woman who, "Dee just sat down with her own kids." "She's got your charm," her mother teased. "Lord help us," Red muttered, scooping Anna up as she giggled and squirmed. Maybe she had overreacted. Maybe not. But damn, she missed Thomas. At least she missed her Thomas. And that was the thing gnawing at her. He hadn't felt like hers last night. He hadn't felt like himself at all. The thought was ridiculous, she told herself, but still it lingered.